Is my screen visible, Guru Maharaj?
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vilajamanaya Asya Sthanuikshapate Muya Vimohita Vikatante Mamaham iti Dordiyaha. The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position. But those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in thoughts of it is I and it is mine. Purport. The invincibly powerful deluding energy of the personality of Godhead, or the third energy representing nescience, can bewilder the entire world of animation. But still, she is not strong enough to be able to stand in front of the Supreme Lord. Nescience is behind the personality of Godhead, where she is powerful enough to mislead the living beings, and the primary symptoms of being persons is that they talk nonsense. The primary symptoms of bewildered persons is that they talk nonsense. Nonsensical talks are not supported by the principles of Vedic literature. And the first great nonsense talk is, it is I, it is mine. A godless civilization exclusively conducted by such false ideas and such persons without factual knowledge of realization of God, except the false God or falsely declare themselves to be God, to mislead persons who are already bewildered by the deluding energy. Those who are before the Lord, however, who surrender unto him, cannot be influenced by the deluding energy. Those, therefore, they are free from the misconception of I, it is mine, and therefore they do not accept the false God or pose themselves as equal to the Supreme Lord. Identification of the bewildered person is distinctly given in this verse. Om Gyan Timidandasya Gina Jana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Paevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Janasamoham Hyam Aham Mameti. Rishabh makes that statement. The misconception of the connection with the living entities, with each other, and with the material energy causes one to think in the wrong way. When you think in the wrong way, you act in the wrong way. When you act in the wrong way, you get a result that is not very acceptable or pleasant. If you break the law, then the law, because it is connected with the arrangement of the society, puts out its police force or order giving force, and you're punished because you broke the law. So God's lawmaking energy is Maya. She stands behind the Lord, as it says here, because those who don't keep the Lord foremost go behind the Lord, and therefore they are in face-to-face with the illusionary energy, accepting that energy as the actual foundation for all activities. And that is called Maya. Maya, what is not. Maya is an energy, and therefore she has qualities and activities and gives results, but not according to what the desired living entities want. Therefore, they get something different. Rather than getting happiness, they get suffering. Rather than they get success, they get defeat. Rather than getting knowledge, they accept knowledge as and they accept ignorance as knowledge. And so this is the material world. Keeping Krishna in the front means to keep Maya in the back. Because Maya cannot come in front of Krishna. She is his maidservant. Therefore, she serves him from the backside. Why? Because she had what is called a thankless task. She has to, although she's a devotee of the Lord, she has to bewilder the living entities who want to become God or take the position of God by becoming the enjoyer. So this idea of becoming the enjoyer and the controller, which is the principle of how the living entities manifest their activities in the world. They want to enjoy, therefore they create a program for control, and therefore they're acting as little gods. And because they all do the same thing, they clash with one another. And therefore there's always strife. So it's a false civilization based on false ideas, and therefore everyone is suffering, or everyone cannot fulfill their desires for happiness in this world. So therefore one has to keep Krishna in the foremost. Keeping Krishna in the foremost means following the principles given by the Shastras for the living entity's spiritual development. And that is the process of bhakti. So one has to follow Mahajano Yena Kata Sampanta, that path. Panta means path, that path that is authorized by the Lord and given into the hearts and lives of the pure souls who teach that path to all living entities as the means for them to also free themselves from this illusion that I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, I am God. All of these false designations, even the false designations of their material identity. I'm a man. You're not a man. You're a spiritual being with a male body. That's all. I'm a woman. No, you're a spiritual body with a female body, a woman's body. So you have things that are given to you, but they're not yours. Just like when you rent something, you rent an apartment, you use the apartment, and you pay some money in order to get the facility to rental to use it, but it's not yours. So we rent this material body for a little while, and we use it to somehow think that I am this body and try to connect with things in this world which will facilitate the happiness of this body through society, friendship, and love, which is family life. Family life is the basic illusionary principle of material life because we belong to Krishna. We don't belong to anyone else. But we create this idea of family here in order to live in this material world and have some enjoyment. Family life is there in the spiritual world. Krishna has his mother, father. Of course, his mother and father are his servants, and not that he is the person who obeys the mother and father. They obey him by playing the role of his mother and father. So in the spiritual world, there are families also, But in the material world, we adopt these relationships based on a desire to fulfill some kind of happiness in this world. And we think it's natural. From the material point of view, it is natural, but from the spiritual point of view, it's an anomaly. Therefore, all relationships in this material world are based on a false standard, which means I am this body. I belong to this country. I belong to this, um, what we say, society. I belong to this community. I belong to this family. And these are all what Prabhupada would call skin disease. Skin disease is to think, based on the type of body you inhabit, that you are connected with others who have the same interest on the bodily platform. That's all illusion. So to get rid of this illusion means to come back to our eternal position as servants of the Supreme Lord. And that's the process of bhakti. And so to give up this idea is not easy because of our conditioned nature. Conditioned nature and constitutional nature. Conditioned nature is something we adopt. Constitutional nature is something we are. We are eternal servants. We are spiritual beings. Conditioned nature means when we come to the material world, for whatever reason, to enjoy separately from Krishna, we require some vehicle in order to carry out that false idea of being an enjoyer, a competitor of Krishna. And therefore we get a body, and then we traverse through bodies, 8,400,000 species of bodies, life after life and different. We think, oh, the body we have now is everything, and that's me. But actually, if we come back again in the next life, we'll start thinking the same thing about our next body, and we'll forget about this one. And this will go on, life after life after life, adopting different bodies, different material situations, different relationships, different mothers, different fathers. And if we become sinful, we fall into the lower species of life, and we get a dog mother and a dog father, like that, or a cockroach mother and father. So the soul is constantly karanam guna sangosya sarasajoni janmasu. So an intelligent person will think, why do I have to continue to suffer in this material world? Isn't there a way out of it? Yes, there is. That is given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya, what does he say? Ham sarvasya prabhavo matad sarvan papartante iti mitval bhajanti man buddha bhava samanvitaha. No, actually he says, sorry, yeah, Buddha bhava sarva dharma parikshajam mamekam saranam vajam aham tvam sarva bhapebhyo moksha yashyami ma suchaha. He said, give up all of your ideas on how you can be happy and simply accept the path of bhakti as given by me. Surrender to me, that means serve me. That's what it really means. He's asking us to serve him because that is our nature. We can't stop serving, whether we're in the material illusionary concept of life or in the spiritual reality of life. Service is always there because that is intrinsic to wherever we are. We have to serve. So in the material world, we serve society, friendship, family. We don't have anything to serve. We get a dog or a cat or some parrot or some frog. And we serve. We're always serving somebody or something. That service nature is there. It can't be taken out because it is there within the soul, and it manifests
Things we've lost Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Shukhava, would you like me to call?
Sorry, Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj has lost the connection. Somehow he's been asked for the voucher. Do you know, Sri Devi Mataji, anything about that?
Yeah, we are all given a number to fill in that.
Have you got that number?
Yeah, he will have a number
Huh.
that will give him internet access.
Oh, okay. Can you give that number to him by any chance?
That number keeps changing because
Oh.
every time we go there, the
Uh-huh.
reception gives you a number which lasts for 15 days. So
Oh.
even if I give him my old number, it won't work because that time is
Oh.
over.
Oh, okay. So I think he has lost. He's looking for that number, I think. So till then, let me share the chanting. We can do the chanting by the
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj said that. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, should we maybe comment on what Maharaj said?
Actually, if we want to discuss, we can do that as well. That's a good idea. Prabhuji. Yeah. Okay, so Maharaj, Guru Maharaj did discuss a lot of important points. I was so amazed about this verse actually. Basically, I was just thinking, my God, such a powerful verse this is that opens up our eyes, like how the Maya is and how we are here and what we are doing here. We don't even think, just keep on doing I and mine, I and mine. But I do have one question. We can all discuss on that. The thing is that while we are in this material world and we have got this body, we have got the connection with all the other living entities, with like a family, friends, devotees, and we do get attached to them. And then we is it completely wrong while we are in this body we can't have it? Because if we don't have that connection, if we don't have that loving relationship with everyone, it is difficult to live in this world, isn't it? What are your views, everyone? Please, can you say something about it? Anyone would like to share? Shall I stop sharing my screen and we can have the... Yeah, Scarlett Mataji, you can.
Hare Krishna, and thank you very much for today. In my understanding, what I have learned, I might be wrong, but it doesn't mean that we do wrong because we care about our loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
But what I understand is that the loved one that you love, if you love them that much, if you care about them that much, then you make them also to learn about Lord, to learn about Krishna, and to make them also to worship Krishna. But if you don't do it, it means that you're choosing your family above the Lord. That's what I learned. I don't know. I might be wrong, but that's what I have understood of it.
Yeah, very nice point, Scarlett Mataji. Thank you so much for raising that. Anyone else would like to share?
Harival, we're back here.
Oh, Hare Krishna, come on. Thank you. We're just
Yeah,
discussing a few points.
There's some problem on our side here with the internet.
Do you want me to reshare my screen, Guru Maharaj?
No, we can open it up for questions now.
Okay. So Hare Krishna devotees, please put your videos on so that we can, Guru Maharaj can see everyone and make it more personal. If you have any questions, please raise your hands and or else put it in the chat. I can read it for you as well. So Sri Devi Mataji, thank you. Go for it, please.
Thank you, Sukhamaha. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, as I was listening to you and I was thinking about skin disease, this disease which makes us think me, mine, my family, my children, my house, my bank by my, which is all Maya, and how we can actually change that to understand the whole world is my family. Who is not my family? All the creatures are children of God, and so am I. And so this concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which has been there in India since time immemorial, but it has been forgotten. It is basically Vedic culture that as we progress through life, we purify ourselves and the whole world becomes your family. You don't give up your family. It's just that the whole world is now your family. So Srila Prabhupada is giving us the means for real happiness, real peace, real love, and real relationships. So out of gratitude for Srila Prabhupada, practicing this philosophy, teaching this philosophy, preaching this philosophy is so essential. So my humble request is, how can we really spread this knowledge so that there's genuine peace and love in this world?
Well, it's being done right now. You're also doing it. We do whatever level of commitment and facilities and abilities we have. So we're spreading the holy name, different places, getting people to chant, having classes, teaching people what is the absolute truth and how to connect with it. We distribute prasadam so they get purified in mind. We open temples and give people a chance to worship according. We try to teach people how to live free from the dependence on the external environment by living in a more simplified environment. So there's the activities of the spiritual culture are quite variegated, but they're all focused on one thing, bringing people close to their constitutional position as eternal servants of the Lord and teaching people how to act within that. That's our business. How much we're doing it. Some of us are doing it big time, making many people Krishna conscious. Others are doing it very smallly. Once in a while, somebody comes when we do something. Oh, whatever you can do. That's the activities of Srila Prabhupada's movement.
Mm-hmm.
Srila Prabhupada's movement, as it's mentioned in the scriptures, is an extension of Lord Chaitanya's program for world purification. In other words, you can find it in the very beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's called the tree of Lord Chaitanya. There's one branch. It's called ISKCON, the National Society for Krishna Consciousness. So it's an extension of the Gaudiya Math tradition where Srila Prabhupada had to break from because they no longer were able to be effective because they had disobeyed the instructions of their spiritual master. And because they had done that, they were no longer effective in spreading Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Prabhupada broke from that and started the movement in the West. And he was successful because he followed the instructions of his spiritual master.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shraddha Mataji, for lovely question. Sakshi Mataji, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Maharaj, you were speaking something about keeping Krishna in the forefront always. So can you share a little more about it? And also there is a tendency to take credits for every little achievement that we get. And we forget to pass it on to our superiors from whom we have actually got it. So,
don't forget, If you're forgetting, we say, don't forget. What can we say? When we say, try to remember something, that means don't forget it. So if you forget what to do the right thing, what can you expect? If I tell you to take this package and bring it to this particular person, and you bring it to the wrong person, then whose fault is it? You did the wrong thing. You didn't follow the instructions. So following the instructions is simply the foundation for our success. If you are accepting something for your own benefit, then you are putting yourself in the position as the actual initiator of the activity. You are part of the activity, but you're not the initiator, nor can you cause the results to happen either. Oh, follow, that's all. That's all. Just like we say, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So there's two injunctions there. Always remember Krishna and don't forget Krishna. Or always remember not to forget Krishna and forget about not remembering Krishna. Comes to the same point. Chant Hare Krishna, not, I can't get no satisfaction. Chant Hare Krishna instead of, Mother Durga, I know you're in charge of this material world, so, I need these things. So, follow the instructions. When it comes to it, children, they need to be supervised so they can follow instructions. But adults, someone who's grown up, they have to learn the instructions and learn how to follow it.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, just do it. That's all.
It is hard to, monitor adults rather than children. Children, you can manage it, discipline them. Whereas adults, it's so difficult to watch.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's because they think they know better. Okay,
True.
we got something from Amrita now there.
Yes, Amrita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, I was reading a quote from HH Candramauli Swami today, and it says that preaching means being sensitive to somebody's current state and then offering them the next step and the next stage. So I was just wondering about the first part of the statement. Can you elaborate more on this? To being sensitive
Try to know
somebody.
try to know your audience, get an idea. What is the audience? So if you're preaching to some doctors, you preach different than you would preach to, a class of high school kids. So you have to know people's background, a little bit about them. We get an idea, and then try to interject the philosophy accordingly. Preaching requires some intelligence. Just to be sensitive doesn't eliminate the idea of using your intelligence to understand how best. And of course, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we see the audience is mixed, so we give a general statement. Just before the internet went out, I was preaching pretty heavy. And I think because I was preaching too heavy, the internet went out. So Krishna told me, "What are you talking about? They can't give up their families. Forget it. They're too attached. Just tell them to chant Hare Krishna. That's all they can handle."
Oh my God, Guru Maharaj, as an Indian, I always ask this question.
Yeah, if you go up to your husband and say, "My dear husband, you're not my husband. You're simply an illusion." So, what's going to happen?
He's going to look at me.
Oh yeah.
We will say you've gone mental.
So I was scaring everybody with my thing, and then Krishna said, "All right, you better keep quiet." So shut me down. All right. So we're back. So now we're trying to be nice.
But the desire is always there, Guru Maharaj. Whatever you are saying, right away cannot happen, but the desire is always there. That's what I have been following.
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes we have to preach the absolute truth so people understand what is ultimately the highest understanding. But then again, we have to take them step by step to get to that higher understanding. So that's the process of bhakti. By engaging people in service and sadhana. Sadhana and service make up the process of bhakti. Chant the holy name, read the books, associate with devotees, worship in the temple, that is the sadhana. Service means to do some practical activity to connect yourself with the process of devotional service by offering your time, your energy, your intelligence, your abilities as an expression of service to the Lord. So these two things, sadhana and service. Sadhana is the foundation, service is the expression, and the goal is sadhya. Sadhya means to ultimately develop attraction and love for Krishna. And so, yeah. So we can preach sadhana all the time, and that's how we generally preach, mostly about sadhana. But then again, to let people know what is the actual goal, we take a chance by speaking the absolute principle, just like one of the most powerful chapters in the entire Bhagavatam is in the 5th canto, 5th chapter, Rishabh's teachings to his sons. That's cool. Those teachings are meant for people who are already in the renounced order of life. Generally, they say. So Bhagavatam is like that. Some of those chapters are really like very simple understandings of the process. Others are really more deeper in the reality of the spirit soul's relationship with the absolute truth. Now, there's different levels, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji, for that's a lovely question. You are on mute. Hope it has helped you.
Where are you hiding now? You went down there. Okay.
Yeah, she's here. Brett Prabhu has got question. Brett Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to assembled devotees. Maharaj, I'm just going off of the translation, just thinking about how, many people are bewildered, always talking nonsense, being absorbed in these thoughts. And Maya Devi, she's ashamed of her position. And Guru Dev, you always talk about, how we need to have a healthy fear of Maya. And, thinking of how Maya Devi is ashamed of her position. Is there any question as devotees with that healthy fear of Maya, for us also to have, a sense of compassion for Maya. Just thinking.
just don't listen to her. Listen to Krishna and listen to Krishna's representatives, those who are authorized to speak on behalf of Krishna or his representatives. Maya will tell you something that is also about what is your desires to enjoy in this material world. And so another name for Maya is mercy. Yeah, she is compassionate in that she's reminding you of what you shouldn't be doing.
That was my exact thought, Gurudev. I'm with being in America, as we're approaching the Christmas season, people kind of get so overwhelmingly bewildered here. So it's, all I can think is, wow, Maya's working double time here, and I kind of feel bad for her right now.
Well, we can use it. We can give Christmas presents in the form of the Bhagavad Gita.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Some prashadam. We can use anything in Krishna's service.
Yes, Maharaj. We're having a Christmas party this Friday at the temple at our preaching center in Center City with Haryashava. So we'll be going out and giving out prashadam and books to people on the streets for Christmas.
Yeah, good. That's what we want to do. Preach. Preach, teach, whatever we call it, but reach out to the conditioned souls. There's so many people are suffering like crazy. And they don't know why they're suffering. They can't even accept the solution to get over their suffering either. So we make it nice. Sing, dance, eat, read some nice books. Simple.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Shri Devi Mataji.
Thank you, Subha. Dear Guru Maharaj, what is real wealth and how should one go about acquiring that?
Real wealth is bhakti. It says that there are different categories of wealth. The lowest form of wealth is money or finances. Second, higher than that is knowledge. Higher than knowledge is austerity. And higher than austerity is bhakti. So ultimately, bhakti is the supreme wealth of the soul. If you have bhakti, you don't need all of these other forms of wealth because bhakti connects you with Krishna, and Krishna is Bhagavan. When you're connected with the source of everything, and what do you need to worry about all these other aspects of the same source that are there in the material energy, which are just droplets of little illusions, that's all. If you give yourself fully in devotional service, you have all the wealth in the world because you're connected with the source who owns everything. This is like Prabhupada used to say. People would criticize us. You Hare Krishnas don't work. Therefore, you are a burden upon society. What are your parasites? You're living off us who are working. No, we're living off our Father who's rich. If your Father is rich, why should you go to work? And your Father wants to give you everything, so why work? Because you're poor, you have to go out and try to struggle for yourself because you've rejected your Father. That's why. Who is a rich Father? So we say, why should we work? Because our Father he's wealthy.
Right.
And he's sharing his wealth with us as long as we can stay connected with him.
This simple fact, if people understand, then they would save themselves so much stress, so much tension, so much overwork, ulcers, blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, heart attacks. All this would just disappear if this one thing, just surrender to Krishna and he'll take care of you. If this one thing people could accept, what a different, wonderful world this will be.
Write a book about it. You should write a book. Because it's in the Shastras, and we say it all the time, but people think, well, I have to work. You don't have to work. Work is for donkeys. Donkeys work because they think they need to get some grass from the washerman who they work for. But the grass is there. Stupid donkey. He can't even look down to get the grass because he's looking forward like the carrot, which is dangling in front of his nose. So Maya dangles the carrot of material success in front of our nose, and we work like a donkey. And we also make noise like a donkey, too.
That is a powerful statement,
It's
Guru.
actually quite sad, actually. I mean, it's funny on the one hand, but it's also very sad, Guru Maharaj. I want the whole world to be happy. I want devotees to be happy. I want devotees to be so ecstatically happy that the world just rubs its eyes and says, what's with these Hare Krishnas? We want to be like them. And that's how the whole world will become happy.
Yeah, but we have to get it together on our side a little bit more so we can be a pure example for what we're teaching. Because we're still plugged into the material energy. And because we're plugged into the material energy, we're half in and half out of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada didn't want us to work for the materialist society. He said, use your abilities and create a spiritual society where you can maintain yourself with all of the activities. It's already there. It's a plan. It takes community to do it. A community of devotees with different skills, labor, activities. And if you do that, you even seen during the lockdown when the COVID was locking up people down, people pulled back from their jobs and started to become independent and making their own source of income. They survived somehow. So we can do that too, in the sense that we can pull back from being connected to this material world for our livelihood. We connect ourselves with the material energy for the sake of preaching, but we're not really connecting with the material energy. We're connecting with the atmosphere by which the material energy governs, and that is to pull out the conditioned souls to different programs for preaching. So one of the best forms of programs for preaching is an example of how to live. And Prabhupada, he gave us that clear thing. It's there. He said hundreds and hundreds of statements how to live. I'm here at Govardhan Echo Village. Everything is here. There's service here, there's cows, there's agriculture, there's medicine, there's education, there's worship, and there's a variety of other activities which make up people's livelihood. You say, well, that's India. You can't do it in the West. No, you can do it in the West. You just have to do it, that's all. It can be done anywhere. Bhakti Charu Maharaj was very strong. He said, why should we work for the materialistic society? Many leaders have been speaking like that, Prabhupada especially. But it's like in Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Mumbai. That's an example of 25 5 doctors got together and started their own little clinic. And then it expanded into a hospital where there was 25 doctors. Now people come and they get medical treatment. The doctors are using their skills as doctors to treat people, but they are exposed to Lord Jagannath. Jagannath comes to their room every day. They hear Prabhupada's message in their intercoms in their rooms. There's prayer meetings throughout the day in the hospital. And so they've turned, the medical talents of these doctors into a form of preaching to the secular society. That's an example of an ashram.
That is a good example, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think it can be done. It can be done in the West also.
Yeah, we should think about that as well.
The question is, Prabhupada is warning us that Western society will not last. It will turn inward, and then we'll be struggling just to live. We want to avoid that situation.
Right. That urgency, somehow, I don't know, people are not getting it, or they don't want to get it. What it is, I don't know, Guru Maharaj, because so much is obvious. It is very obvious that
too much of a transition, and it takes community to do it. You can't do it as an individual family. You need to work together in a community where there is services, there is what do they call it? Labor, and what's the other part? Commodities. You have people who produce, you have people who manage, you have people who protect, you have people to do various service. And the land is there. The land provides everything you need. How do you think the Western civilization is going on? They're simply raping the land for the resources and selling it back to you in the form of commodities. They're doing the same thing, but they rape the land, and they just squeeze out as much as they can and sell it back to you in the form of the things you need. So you're surrendering to them. Why don't you just surrender to the land, which is God's arrangement for the living entity to live? It's all in. You'd be surprised, and I'll say that with emphasis, what nature can provide for you. She can provide everything you need and more. But
do you have to go?
No, not today.
Not today. Okay, fine. Thank you. I was just reminding the time. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even if Maharaj has to go, you don't say that.
Sorry, I was just didn't wanted Maharaj to miss his service. It was sorry.
No, today is a different schedule.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, so God provided the livelihood for the living beings. You just have to learn how to use it. So, but it takes community. But you see, Western
people don't understand the importance. They don't have actually accepted that this is going to go down. That's the problem. They think it is going to go like this.
It's going down.
I know, but still they're not accepting it. That's such a surprising thing that they are not accepting it. They think, oh yeah, I know it is going bad, but it is not going to completely go down.
Prabhupada tells the story of the two men who were arguing about how something was cut. There was a man who said it was cut by a knife, and the other person said, no, it was cut by a scissor. So they were arguing back and forth. Finally, the knife man, he got really stronger, and he took the other guy and he threw him in the river. And the man who was, saying it was a scissor. As he was going down, drowning, he was holding his arm up in the air and going like this, with his fingers. Scissors. So while they go down, they still keep their illusions.
Exactly. So much of illusion.
This is Nyapandapina Pasyati. They see what they don't see. They don't want to see.
I want to see, exactly. It's so difficult. So many times you talk to people and they say, yeah, it is right, but I don't think so it is going to happen.
And you'll see how Western society, although they're taking things from the earth, they're polluting it and selling it back to you in a less pure way. The food, the water, the lifestyle is all causing people to get sick and die also.
But the non-devotees are wised up to this, Guru Maharaj. They're taking back to nature in a big way. YouTube is full of so many self-help, back to homesteading videos that people are doing, raising their own crops, having their own domestic animals.
That's the start, but they have to have a center. The center has to be something that they all can center around. Our center is service to Krishna. Service to Krishna by service to each other. They're doing service to each other, but because if they start disagreeing or seeing differences away, things will break up. We have that foundation, and that is Krishna is the hub. He's the hub that keeps all the spokes of the wheel together. Without a center that is solid, that is not movable, many of these farm communities, they start, but after some time they disintegrate because people they have different opinions, and so they fight amongst themselves and break up. Happens all the time. But you have to just Prabhupada gave the example of the United Nations. The United Nations was a very laudable way of trying to prevent wars in the world. All the countries could meet in this one place and discuss how to become peaceful. But where's the peace? Why? Because each nation is representing their own interests. And so there's no center. They say the center is we all want peace, but you have to have something practical. There's no practicality there. I'm coming with my nation's interests, and he's coming with his nation's interests. So they sit there and they argue. That's all. Once in a while, they make some legislation, which they don't carry out anyway. So this is the prime example of how the materialists wanted to bring about unity, the United Nations. And it was a result of the Second World War. But still, look at the world today. Is there peace? The United Nations is more than 50, 60, 70 years old. Still, what have they done? Prabhupada said the only thing they've done is the flags are increasing. That's all.
Right.
No center. We have the solution because Krishna is the center. Service to Krishna is the center.
So what can we do as a God family to take that first step, Guru Maharaj?
Well, first is communications, to discuss it. But you have to discuss it with an interest to make it happen, and not just theoretically come to discuss and think, well, all right, we discussed it. No, it can work. It will work if everyone is serious about it and follows the protocol given on how to do it. So there has to be some know-how there on how to bring it about. Just like this Govardhan Eco Village, this is ideal in all aspects, spiritual and material. But, I mean, it took years for them to establish it. And then once they did, they got the foundation in place. And then it started to expand. And now you wouldn't believe what's happening here. it's expanding so fast that every year you come here, it's like a different place. They just are constructing 7 huge apartment houses right outside for devotees to live. And right now, every particular apartment is already filled up. That means that people have already put their bid in for an apartment. And the apartments are not even done yet. They're not going to worry about how to distribute the apartments. People are lining up to get one. As people are saying, this is the way to live. Because Krishna is the center. Devotional service is the center. Service to the land, service to Krishna's parts and parcels. Not service to, some corporate agency that simply wants to take your money and sell you back things that you think you can use, but ultimately they usually cause you more harm than benefit. So we're working for bad masters. That's the material world. And we think this money, Prabhupada said the money will eventually, be useless. He says the whole money situation will collapse also in due course of time. It's already collapsing. What you could buy for $1 50 years ago will take you now $20 to do the same thing. You get the same thing for, an increase of 200%. But because everything has changed, the value of money has changed, the whole society has changed. So increase. That's all.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
So if you analyze Western society, and you'll see how everything is dysfunctional. But they keep it going through this money program by distributing money everywhere, so everybody can have money. Everybody thinks they're okay because they got money. They'll give you money, and they'll beg you to take money, so you can continue to buy into their lifestyle.
Shruti Kirti Prabhu said, in the early days, we were poor, but we always had plenty of ghee to give to the deities. And now we are all so rich. Every temple is so rich, and we have no ghee for the deities.
I can't answer that question. I don't know why either. It doesn't make sense either. That's just bad management. We don't know Prabhupada's program. Prabhupada's ghee, Prabhupada said, you take ghee, you'll always be healthy. But not too much. Sutakirti was saying Prabhupada took milk products on every meal he took. He always took some milk products. But he also cautioned us not to take too much, saying too much milk can also cause mucus. But milk in itself is very, very nutritious, builds bones, calcium, and when you take hot milk, it nourishes the brain, which helps one to understand philosophical teachings. So milk is necessary for the brains, for developing finer brain tissues, which are important for understanding higher knowledge. So God has given everything in nature, and what does the materialist do? They're just taking nature and selling it back to you in a lesser form. They're butchering it up, they're chopping it up, they're cutting it up, and they're killing people with what they sell people to. People are buying their own death when they buy into this food supply in the material world. Food is so polluted now. It's really bad. I shared you with that thing about the dates, right? You got that thing with the dates?
Yeah.
Did everybody hear a thing about the dates? No? No.
Guru Maharaj, we got it and we distributed it to everyone.
No.
It was,
Seedless dates, how do they make them seedless?
yeah. It
The
was
workers in the workers in the factory bite the dates and suck out the seeds and spit it out, and then they throw the dates in this big container, and then they sell it back to you. It's on film. You can see it. So somebody's was putting it in their mouth before you get it. Can you offer that to the deities? That's seedless dates. Forget about seedless dates. That's just one thing. They had to pull back all of the milk in California, all of this raw milk, right? They found it was contaminated. Raw milk doesn't get contaminated, but the Shastras explain that if you raise cows for slaughter, in the meantime, take their milk until they cannot give them milk anymore, the cow knows, and she lives in fear, knowing that she's going to be killed. So therefore, she secretes a hormone into the milk, which is poisonous. And then that people drink that and they get sick from drinking milk, and they say milk is unhealthy. That's in the Rig Veda, that's in the Shastra, that's in the Shrutis, not in the Smritis, that's in the actual Vedas itself. There's a statement, I could find it, I have it on my computer, that
Guru Maharaj, you shared it before as well.
That statement? Yeah. Yeah, I think I did. So people say milk's unhealthy, but it's not. It's the most healthiest thing you can take. But if you're going to kill the cow, you think the cow is going to let you get away with it? She's fearful, and therefore her milk is not beneficial for you. And then they homogenize it and pasteurize it, and whatever nutrients are there, they're gone. We live in a society that only cares about profit. Profit is the motivation.
But God-conscious leaderships in positions of power, that can change things around, no, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, that's what we want. Well, just for and there's two examples in the Shastras. One dacoit king, he was the king of one province in the area of Bengal called Vanavishnupur. His name was Birhambir. And he used to rob all of the travelers that you would come through his kingdom by consulting astrologers to find out who's traveling. And he would send out his men to kill him or to rob him. But then he tried it on the devotees, but it didn't work. And one of the devotees was Srinivasacharya. He came and he became the minister for the king, and he converted the king into a devotee. And when that king became a devotee, he made his whole kingdom Krishna conscious. That's an example. King Ashok, he became attracted by Buddhism, and he made his whole kingdom, everyone had to follow Buddhism. You see that even in the Islamic countries. They follow Islam very strongly. They don't even allow other religions in some countries anyway. So, yeah, when you have a leader who is of the same, devotional qualities, then people can follow. But in the meantime, we don't wait for that. We still preach Krishna. We preach to everybody. Krishna sees the devotees are preaching and they're trying their best. When he sees the devotees are surrendering to the preaching, then he will fuel that preaching by making it successful.
I was just going to ask this question, Guru Maharaj, because we can all talk till we are blue in the face, but the action on the ground level that needs to be taken must come from Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and Brahmanas all coming together to make this happen. So as a preacher, I can only talk, but what can I do on a practical level?
Find people who will agree with you and can get together as a group and make your plans, do something.
Okay, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. But we have to understand what pollutes Krishna consciousness. As Prabhupada says, the disease is personal interest. When we become motivated in spiritual life for our own interest, then we are acting outside of the process of bhakti. Although we might be doing things like that, but we're slowing down the progress. And that's, I might say, that's prominent in our society now. There are people who come simply to gain power, position, wealth, like that, and take advantage of, that atmosphere and become successful materially. So therefore, we have to work on ourselves at the same time preach Krishna consciousness to the rest of the world.
Meanwhile, Guru Maharaj, if we don't plant trees now, if we don't harvest seeds and store them now, what will the future kids eat, drink, live on? This is my concern, that what about the future generations if we don't take action now?
That's what Prabhupada's saying, do it. He told us that 50 years, 60 years ago. 50 years ago, he told us. It's not now, he said it years ago. Yeah.
New Year is coming, so everybody remember and start doing this stuff.
This Christmas is a real farce. Christmas means to honor the Supreme Lord and not to simply run around trying to find the latest, clothing fashion for your cousin.
Not only that, Guru Maharaj, eating and drinking going on so much. Horrible.
Yeah, celebration is nice, but there's no center in the celebration. When Krishna is not there, it is simply material or Maya.
Bad.
Okay.
Guru Maharaj, there is
Anything
a
else?
question on the chat, please. Shall I read that from Rishabha Prabhu? Or Rishabha, do you want to say? You're on mute, Prabhuji. We can't hear you, sorry. Okay, let me read your question. Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev and Vaishnavas. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. You mentioned we don't have anything to do with each other. if I focus on my relationship with Krishna, will all other relationship with Vaishnava be established as well? Your servant.
No, you have to do both. You'll find it's easy and more natural to develop relationships with others when you develop the qualities that are conducive to your relationship with Krishna, because those same qualities span out in our relationships with others. So one of the first qualities is the devotee is kind. The devotee thinks about the benefit of others. So all of these qualities that are developed in our execution of devotional service also include our relationships with others. We get beyond, just look at our society. We have people from all over the world practicing Krishna consciousness. Where do you find a society like that? You can't find it anywhere in the world. Prabhupada said, our Mayapur is the success of the United Nations. Yeah. Even the Christians, they can be together in their own little country. But I guess sometimes they get a little international, and sometimes. But we do it all the time.
Does that help, Rishi Prabhu? There's a lovely comment by Radha Bhakti Mataji on the chat as well. She says that I think people in the US are feeling more exploited than ever before. Hopefully, this means that they will take up Krishna consciousness and we will provide safe and happy home.
Yeah, when they start realizing their foundation is being pulled out from under them, they start looking for alternatives. Therefore, if we're there to give them that alternative, then we're successful and they're successful. We have to be there. Yeah. We have to get out there. We have to get out on Harinam again. We used to do Harinam in every city that had temples. We don't do that anymore. Prabhupada didn't put Harinam so much in India because he thought people in India would simply think we're beggars. But in the Western countries, it was what spread the Krishna conscious movement, the Harinam Sankirtan. Well, how many temples are doing Harinam? Soho Street in London is doing Harinam, right? They do it every day.
Yeah, they do.
Slovenia, the devotees in Slovenia, they go out, maybe not every day, but they go out as much as they can. So yeah. If you listen to Ayendra, he wrote a book and he talked about grassroots chanting of the holy name. Get back out in the streets. That's what really spread our movement. In dhotis and saris, not in jeans and in, what they call it, shorts, looking like some bohemians out there, like collecting money for singing or something. We should be dressed like devotees. So people recognize we're a spiritual group and not simply some singers out there looking for donations. Yeah, because they're ignorant. They don't know.
That's our identity, isn't it, Guru Maharaj? Like police, they are in uniform. They go out every time in uniform, so people know that this is the police, and they can approach.
If they
Same
want
way.
to hide, they go in plain clothes. But we're not trying to hide. We,
We will be in our dress so that they know if anyone wants to approach also, they can approach us easily because they know that we are from Hare Krishna.
yeah. But Prabhupada said for book distribution, you may sometimes have to change your dress according to the culture and the mentality of the people. But that's different. But for Harinam, we should be out there in dhotis so people don't misunderstand who we are and think we're simply beggars or just street singers.
Yeah. Vishnu Prabhu says that, yeah, sometimes Harinam is better than the book this sorry. But sometimes I think better some Harinam than no Harinam, hoping they will get purified. Yeah. True.
What really was powerfully done in Slovenia is that we would go out on Harinam and books at the same time. You have a group of devotees chanting, and around them, there are devotees who follow the Harinam program and distribute books to the onlookers. And that sells books much faster because they're hearing the sound of the holy name while they're being approached by a book distributor. That really worked in Slovenia. I mean, one devotee, he did 200 books in 2 hours. It works. You can combine those two together. You got a powerful force out there.
Even
have to
Guru Maharaj, just a tilak, people just approach you and say Hare Krishna. Just if we are wearing tilak only, not even the dhoti or sari, they still come to you. So many times it happens that, oh yeah, they come and say, and then you got chance to preach them as well,
That's the idea.
Yeah.
If
Thank you so much.
if we're ashamed to display ourselves for who we are, then what is our bhakti? Why should we be ashamed?
Shouldn't be.
Just because we don't fit into the Western society doesn't mean we have to become like them. Yeah. Okay, these are things you can think about anyway.
Thank you very much for so many points to think about and such a lovely class. Any devotees have last minute questions, please raise your hands.
Radha Bhakti, did you want to speak to me on the phone?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, but can you speak in an hour after this class is done? Is that okay? I have a meeting in 4 minutes for 1 hour, and then I can call you if that's all right.
Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, you can call me whenever you're free.
Okay.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
All right, so we'll
Swami
end
Maharaj
here.
ki jai.
Okay. So if you don't like any of my lecture, at least chant Hare Krishna anyway.
There's no question of not liking Guru Maharaj. We're hanging on to every word. This is life-giving nectar for us.
True. So true. Completely agree with Sridevi Mataji.
No, yeah, sometimes we have to speak. You listen to Prabhupada's lectures, you'll get everything you need.
Sometimes we do need somebody to explain us in the simple language as well, Guru Maharaj, and in the strong language as well. That is so true that you need to be a little bit strong on us.
Well, whatever is being said will be experienced in due course of time.
That's what I'm afraid of. Why wait till that time? Why be caught with our pants down? Why not
Yeah.
do something before that time comes? Is it better to be forced to change, or it's better to change voluntarily?
Yeah, it says that, what is it? Experience is the best teacher, but a fool learns by no other means.
Oh my God.
That's the whole saying. We say experience is the best teacher, but the second half is the fool learns by no other means.
Oh my God. Krishna Chaitanya. Some real fervent prayers are necessary, Guru Maharaj, to get us together and do something.
True.
Yay. All right. But you have to work collectively, and that's what it takes. And, we can discuss this in a practical sense. So in my travels, I can also meet devotees in groups and see if we can inspire something in the local areas, wherever devotees are.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Glory
you.
to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Hare
Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Om.
Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Gauranga.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Sukama. Thank you, devotees. Hare
Sorry,
Krishna.
Sridevi Mataji, if I was it offense, but I was just worried about Guru Maharaj's service.
No, it's not our job to instruct Guru Maharaj what to do.
I know, I got it. I got it.
That is not right. So that's why
Yeah.
immediately I jumped in, It's
No,
not
thank
fair
you.
to-
Thank you for that. No.
Yeah,
Definitely.
because that's just not our job,
Because sometimes, you do miss out on the time, and I didn't wanted him to miss his service. So
No. He is divine. He is transcendental. He doesn't need us to tell him what to do. You're misunderstanding the position of Guru. You're getting too familiar, and that can cause your spiritual life to come down. So be very careful.
yeah, definitely. We'll
He's
do
not
it.
your friend to tell him, hey, you have an appointment. Like that.
No, that's true. True.
Be careful.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for taking it in the right way. I'm only protective of all of you, that's all.
I know. That's why I follow your instructions all the time. Anyways, we do make mistakes because we are.
Yeah, I make mistakes too. I need correction. You correct me too. Okay, Hari Bol.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.